how many of these we have, because we are overloading our... We have too much hemp again. But the game definitely is not rimworld. Like, this is probably pushing it to where the game is going to start... If I didn't have Rekenshi installed, which makes it to where the game doesn't crash as much, then the game would probably crash a lot more. Let's see. Hemp auto loop. Let's add 2 more. That should be fine. Okay, he healed just enough. Excellent. Put him in a bed. I like it. What about you? Okay, so here's a fun thing. When you run into something where somebody has, like, this insane amount of unconsciousness, just have somebody come and pick them up. Wait, I'm carrying one of their leaders. Yes, I am. What this means is, we put him in a prison. Then when he gets eaten, they stay dead. Okay, who's got the other leader? There he is. Okay, you go and put him in this one. We can snack, crackle, and pop. Hi, Bob Prince. Come and join me. Excellent. Now that you have joined the team, let's have you go take off that trash that you're wearing and go put on some actual equipment. Wonderful. Well, in Fog Prince, the only downside of Fog People is that you can't rename them or anything like that. That's one of the only major downsides. Good enough, and excellent. Now go get a backpack. Wonderful. And now I also want you to go pick up these people and put them down. So, he has unconsciousness of like 67 or something. That's fine. By picking him up and then immediately putting him down, we can sort of reset that sometimes. But this guy, there's somebody where it's just like 200 or something ridiculous. Like that person. So Prince, Fogman, formerly known as Prince, come and pick him up for me. I'm hoping that we can reset that a little bit, but I might not be able to. He might just be out for a long time. It could also just be that he doesn't have any arms right now, and so that's causing the game to freak out a little bit. Okay, who is missing arms, though? Aha! You. Come on over here. That works, I guess. Will this work? Yes. I wasn't actually looking if that was a left or right arm. I just grabbed something. Okay, handy. Are you close enough? Yes. We're going to need to start making left arms again. Okay, so after having his arms blown off, what is his toughness at? Because I think he was a new recruit. 25. Handy is definitely trying to do his thing. Okay, so we took out this hive. And they're slowly going to get destroyed by fog raiders and stuff like that. Not, yeah, by fogmen and cannibals. So next we're going to want to wipe out this one and then these two. Also want to kill these hive villages. Maybe just that one. That's the only one. And then after that, we're going to want to come over here and kill the Western Hive Queen. We're going to capture her and then feed her to Fogmen. It'll be great. But everything should be okay. You have that one person who they got hit in the head too hard, and they are currently unconscious, and will be for the next 5 years. You're fine, you're fine. And you're going to want to set up a lot of beds, simply because, like, even just in the normal game, you're going to want to set up a bunch of beds. It's actually more important in the normal game. Just throw them on the ground, that'll be fun. Take that. It's actually more important in the normal game simply because you don't have... It's more important in the normal game simply because people don't heal very fast. I have a feeling, by the way, if we, like, save and reload, that he will come back. But at the same time, that will also allow the leaders that we have captured right at the moment to escape as well. Which we don't want. We want them to instead get eaten. He's fine. You're relatively fine. Ah, Mr. Prince. Yeah. Well, I guess because Sven is not awake, he can't bodyguard us. There. Cool. Sounds good. Can we recruit anyone? Yeah, when you're doing a Fogman playthrough, it definitely takes absolutely forever to build up your numbers. If this was just the normal game, then I would go to a bunch of towns. I'd send a bunch of recruits to a bunch of different towns, all across the island, and I would just mass recruit as many people as I wanted, and then just have them all. And I'd either teleport everyone back to my base or have them all run back. As for the teleportation, how that works is you make a save, and then you hit load and reset squad positions. And what that does is that teleports everyone to that little marker there. You can use that to do some really weird shenanigans, by the way. So if you wanted to make a base in... The game is still lagging, even though it's paused. So if you wanted to make a base... and this cauldron, for some reason, you can't normally walk in here. It's completely inaccessible. However, if you have it so that your entire team runs off and then comes back, so you don't leave anyone at home, you also don't mind having your base take place in, like, a single tower. You could, in theory, teleport back and forth in here and just use that teleportation to get in and out of your base. What you could also do is something similar to what I did over here. So your dudes can't normally bridge this gap. For whatever reason, you can build stuff there, but you can't have the people bridge it. They can't walk across it. But you can build a wall and then 2 ramps, and they can use that as an impromptu bridge to go across. So that is a nice little thing. I think there are mods that adds like little buildable walkways and stuff like that. But this is effectively just an easy way to get around that limitation. And the higher the quality of wall, by the way, so a higher tier wall will require more space for the ramp because they're taller. That's the only major downside there. But yeah, like if you ever do a Fogman start, there are going to be 2 problems. One is that you can't really buy supplies, you have to go loot them. But at the same time, your dudes are made of paper and your stats are all like sub-20s for almost everyone. So good luck winning any fights. You can go and try to go and get ruins, but you'd have to be able to get a bunch of stuff going to be able to do that. Now, luckily, there are mods that add ways to get stuff. Ore mine? No, it's not ore mine. There's a mod that adds, I think it's like primitive something. Stone mining site, that's one of them. That lets you mine stone and it doesn't cost anything. It produces raw stone, but very slowly. The bloomery allows you to turn raw iron into iron plates. And the building material crafting bench only requires building materials. And it allows you to, it requires raw stone and raw iron. So you can build this. If you wanted to bootstrap yourself up, that is one way you could do that. If you don't want to buy anything. Books becomes the next big problem, though. So, if you wanted to do something like this where you do not buy anything from anyone, everything that you have is either stolen or made by yourself. Well, there is a mod that adds in book recovery benches. So book recovery benches allows you to turn damaged books into actual usable books. It requires damaged books and leather, and that somehow produces books that you can use to do research. So, what does that mean? So that means that you will most likely use the libraries up here, and honestly what that means is that books are super important because you need them to do research, and then damaged books are basically made of gold because I think it's every 4 damaged books is 1 normal book. So the libraries up here, down in Shun, I should say, are really important, and just anywhere else that you can get books is great. Because usually what people will do... Yeah, I know, right? Like, usually what I'll do in a normal playthrough is I will get to where my dudes can run at 20 miles an hour and then immediately come to Mongrel and spend the rest of my time getting through the just book-based research tree to unlock everything while building up a base, while getting a lot of recruits, leaving the Fog Islands to hire more people until I have, 20, 30 people. And... or, however many, and training everybody in the Fog Islands up to like 20s with the crappiest possible weapons I can get my hands on or build. And then after that, I would typically, I think on the first playthrough I did that, I moved up to the Leviathan coast somewhere. And because that's nice and fertile ground, and pretty much nobody raids you except for the cannibals. And if you wanted to do like that Gatling turret, that works fantastically against the cannibals in the base game. But I've also heard Shun is great. Pretty much the only things that attack you and shun are like spiders. If you want something where you can get raided by everybody, all the major factions, yeah, book is grind. If you want to get raided by all the major factions, then the swamp is fantastic, because if you look at that map that shows the triangles where they will raid you, the swamp pretty much is covered by everyone. So if you want to fight Czech and Holy Nation and United Cities, this is where you want to go. Just make sure you install a lot of performance mods so the swamp isn't just a complete nightmare. How much do you actually know about... Do you play Kenshi a lot, the rogue as, or are you new to it? Just out of curiosity. So one thing that you will notice is... So this is our farmers, and they have this pretty long list of things that they do. The game actually hates this. This will cause the game to crash if this is too long. Just as a random side note. Like 75 hours? Alright, pretty new, yeah. That's probably... Is that still in your first playthrough, or are you still going? If I was to give a little piece of advice, that would be... What the... Is there like a patrol going here? Oh, it's just cannibals. Who cares? Let's see. A little piece of advice that will actually be incredibly useful for you is... you're going to want to build a base, but you're not going to want to defend your base. The only thing that enemies will really take from a base is food. So if you know you're going to get raided by somebody, you can just take all your food and then leave. Probably one of the... If you're a human, one of the easiest places to build is going to be in Oakland's Pride, because you can make lots of food in there. The Fog Islands are nice, except, you know, the Fogmen. They're a bit of a problem. But regardless of what biome you build in, yeah, dying a lot. Yeah, that is perfectly normal for your first playthrough. What you want to do with your first playthrough is really hug one of the factions. You want to become best friends with them. Oh, man. 160 damage. That blew his leg off or something? Yeah, that blew his leg off. Scrawler immediately picked up to go get eaten. Let's see. The main thing that you'll want to do, if you are playing as Shek, you're going to want to go to the Sten Desert. A relatively easy place to go is Squin. And you can lure stuff like Godaru and goats over to the gate guards, and they will kill those for you, and then you can loot those and cook their food and stuff like that. You can mine copper over here, and I think there's iron deposits somewhere around here. So you can do that to make a little bit of money, but it's not really all that profitable. It will let you get some skills up, and it is relatively safe. Yeah, hit them hard. Oh yeah. And you can buy houses in Squin. Keep in mind that if a faction takes over something, so let's say that you have a house in Squin, but Astada dies, the leader of the Shek Kingdoms dies or something. When this... Actually, that's a bad example. If you have property owned in the hub, and then the Holy Nation or the Shek Kingdoms takes control of the hub, you'll actually lose everything that you had in the hub if that building gets converted into something else. So that is one thing that's kind of important. What you can do is you can be a scav, basically a scavenger. And there's a battle going on between the Holy Nations and, well, the Holy Nations and the United Cities over Bast. So you'll see two groups come and fight each other in here, and you can go and basically just steal their equipment and sell it to the other side. There's that. If you want good gear, but you're not able to like buy that stuff, then the scrap house is where you can get some of the best gear in the game. There are 2 AI cores here if you hit that point, and I think there's some research stuff that you can buy here. This is also where you can recruit a skeleton. But yeah, that's the big ones. If you want AI cores and you don't know where to get them, you'll have to go down to the Ashlands for AI cores. Royal Valley, these people really want to get to know you and probably eat you. So I wouldn't go there unless you're ready for fights. But yeah, the game is really about exploration more than anything. So don't feel obligated to make a base super early. And also get a Garu. If you're doing a normal playthrough, go find some nomads, buy a Garu. Its backpack is so much better than having some of your dudes run around with like a traveler's backpack. And the reason for that is these wooden backpacks, so they give you -5 to all of your combat abilities, but they also decrease combat speed. They make your stealth worse. They reduce your dodge skill effects. So if you are doing a martial artist, this will actually really hurt your ability to do anything. So that is definitely something that you don't necessarily want. For the small backpacks, small thieves backpacks, these are nice because they basically just give you extra storage with no real downsides at all. So those are really nice. But yeah, that's kind of most of it. If you want to build toughness really quickly, getting captured by or putting yourself on a pole in the Fog Islands can work, but if you screw it up, your dudes will get eaten. Because the Fogmen pretty much just auto-reinforce forever. So it can be super dangerous. For automation, so this is actually something that I can show off with our newest recruit. So he's covering our hydroponic hemp, but he's also covering this whole process of making medicine and all of these things, which we need to add those to it. This is starting to get too long. To the point that I'm considering peeling somebody off to have them handle these instead. This Fog Prince might be someone that will have to do that instead. Can I give this to him from there? No. Go trade with him. Is that as fast as he can move? Jeez. No, he's fine. Okay. So we're actually going to swap those out, and we're going to move this Fog Prince over to logistics. So we do that by going squad. Go over here to Fog Prince. I'm going to put him in here. Now, normally you can only have 30 people, and the max squad size you can have is 20. There are mods that increase this. Keep in mind that if I had this many people of Shek, they would eat like 3 times as much food as each one of these guys does. So there is that. Let's see, what is this guy's specialty? Are Fogmen good at... I think it's science. How about Fogmen? Are Fogmen... Oh, it's Field Medic. That they do. Okay, that's fine. He doesn't have a bonus or a malice, so... We will have this Fog Prince. Not Bodyguard Fen. And instead, he's going to come over here and... Yeah, so what I recommend you do is try to... Food is a persistent issue unless you're farming. The good news is that there are... what race are you in-game, by the way? Because that's going to have a pretty big impact on... That's going to end up having a pretty profound impact, I think. Okay, so we're going to have him... So this is the reverse process that I was talking about. So you go into the... You want to go to the very end of the process, and then head backwards. So items that are made here will get put into this box, and then we'll make them here. And then we will put fabric in this, and these will make fabric. Yes. Okay, so he's going to run over and do that. And this Fogman is... We're going to take him off of the auto lures. Oh crap. Okay, we'll just do all of these hydroponic farms again. How's the water? Perfectly fine. And so what that's going to do is now he is taking care of all of these. And we'll also make sure that he puts him into this barrel when he's done. So if you're human, the easiest thing you can do is just come up to Okran's Pride. And then, well, depending on where you are. So there are some pretty easy ways to do things. So you can make food out of cacti, out of... Wheat actually has an extra step to it, so I don't necessarily recommend wheat from the start. So cacti, rice, or vegetables, green fruit. Green fruit's so aptly named. It's so descriptive, you know. It's neither a fruit nor is it green, but it's called green fruit. So no one knows why. But with Okran's Pride, you can build most food here. For the Great Desert, you can make cactus, and you can make food that way. That's whatever it is. For the swamp, you can make rice. The swamp has blood spiders in it, so those can be a bit of a problem. They run pretty fast, so you want to be able to outrun those. In the wetlands, this is also sort of UC territory, you can make a lot of food as well. Keep in mind that you'll want your farms to not... If you get to hydroponics, you can have those inside of a structure, inside of a town, but you can't make a well inside of a town, and buying water is expensive. So you would still need to make a base somewhere outside of town that's essentially just a lot of wells that you put all this water into a storage container and then you bring it all back. It'd be much easier just to make your own base. The mistake, though, making your own base, is trying to defend it. I know it sounds weird, but in Kenshi, the enemies don't take anything and they don't destroy your bases. Like, this has building condition, but nothing actually damages building condition. So this is really just there to. This could just literally be changed to percentage build, and that would change nothing. The only thing that will get damaged is your door, because enemies will come and bash that down to get in. So what you'll most likely end up doing, if you want as low of risk as possible, is going to Okran's Pride and making a farm there, and then farming that to make food. That food you can also sell to make money. If you make wheat, which you have to unlock with technology, you can build rum, I think it is. Actually, I think you need to do cactus to make rum. Or something. No, grog. I'm thinking of grog. So grog sells really well in the Holy Nations, and it isn't legal. Now, what you can also do is you could make two bases. One is in the swamp, and you can have that base make rice and rum. I think it's no rice and sake. And you can run down here to Clownsteady, which is here, I think. And you can sell that sake in the United Cities for a decent profit. However, you are running through the swamp, and then to the south, wetlands, which can have enemies in it that can be dangerous. Avoid the crater. Unless you really, really like dying, basically. So Okran's Pride is pretty safe. The Fog Islands is super dangerous. It really just depends on who you're friends with, who you're enemies with. If you are in the Sten Desert, the Shek will send raids to like take food from you, basically. Think about the Shek as in they mainly get their food through hunting because they go out and just fight animals and kill them and eat them. The problem with that is that the Shek always have a food shortage, effectively. By the way, if you. Yeah, don't go to Crater. Unless you're really good at fighting. So with the Sten Desert, I forget what you can farm here, but you can farm stuff, which is pretty nice. And look for way stations. So I don't have many of them unlocked, but there are a handful of way stations. Many people's first bases are here. Is a common one. They might also make some out here or something like that. The main thing is don't think that you need to defend your base in the beginning because, again, they don't take anything except for food. Just take all your food with you and leave when there's a raid coming in. They'll eventually get bored and leave, unless they are bandits. If they are bandits, they will literally just hang out in your base and they'll take control of it. So, what do you do if the bandits take control of your base? Well, you can go to most towns and most way stations. There is a way station for reference. Yeah, you can build a base and you can just keep building, keep adding on to it. So there is a way station here, I think. Somewhere around here. And so you can literally just build a base here and then run to the way station and get stuff that you need and come back. Keep in mind, though, so I have a playthrough on YouTube where I forget what season it is, but I effectively ran up to here and built a base, I think like right here. That's on a road, by the way, so that wasn't a very good idea because I wanted to block it off. But I built a base around here, and there's a small town here that I could use to get stuff that I needed. And I pretty much just ran up here and bootstrapped right from the get-go. And so you can do that. And I was able to just make food and start cooking and doing everything that way. And it can work out really, really well. It's just, cannibals. But if you're human and you don't mind the Holy Nation coming by for prayer day, then yeah, you can definitely like set up a little base here or something. The main problem that you'll have is river raptors. But they're not hostile to you, they'll just come and eat all your crops. So you might want to put a base around that and then have a storm shack or something. By the way, if you are making a storm shack, just as a fun little aside for early defenses. So storm house, that's what it's called. So each one of these corners has, I think, 5 crossbow slots. And if you take this, we'll just put it here as a hypothetical. Yeah, prayer day. It's every Saturday. It's every Sunday or something. You have to get together and talk about how great Okran is. And if you don't, then the Holy Nation shows up and kicks your teeth in. If you try to talk to them with something other than a human, they show up and kick your teeth in. It's great. So, so what you'll want is a defensive gate. You'll probably have this one, a makeshift. The arrow is the direction is outside. And so, yeah, I know, right? And so what you would want is the gate there at a diagonal of your storm shack. And then you would just put like crossbows, mounted crossbows, all on the corners. And that would allow you to pretty much just fire through the gate as people are trying to bust it down. Now what you would also want to do, and this is actually pretty important, makeshift wall doesn't have a place for stuff, is you'll want something where effectively you do that. And, you'd also, finish off your base, walling it all in or something. Whatever it is. But the reason you would do that is that you could put crossbows up here. Make sure you put a ramp. The ramp doesn't actually have to be built for people to run up it. So if you really want to, you don't have to pay for the ramp. But you would put crossbows up here, and what that would do is make it so that if an enemy is, say, over here, and this can't shoot it, these people could shoot it. You'd also want this one to come out a little bit, so you could have someone over here also shoot that little corner of the base. Can I just hit escape? Yes. Okay. And so that's just these little things to make it so that people can't really bust down your gate all that well. And you can just use storm shacks as well to do what I'm doing here. It's just, this is sort of the in-game thing. Like these towers, these watchtowers are basically an in-game structure. You'll be able to get watchtowers and then station houses. And station houses are basically the best building in the game for space, I guess, for being able to have a bunch of stuff in one place. And then the watchtowers are the best for actually dealing damage with harpoons and crossbows. Oh no, this is not vanilla. Our mod list. Oh, if you're asking if these are vanilla, yes. All of what I just showed you is vanilla. Station houses are vanilla, they're just late tech. Watchtowers are vanilla, they're late tech as well. These harpoons, that's vanilla. They're just a higher tier. Yeah, the watchtowers are nice. You will get them at the very end, though. So that is something to be aware of. But we have this many mods. Yeah. So there is all that. There is something that I like to do that I refer to as sawing raiders' forces if you decide you do want to defend your base. And that is if you open and close a gate, the enemies will actually just stand there until the gate is fully open and then some will move through. And if you close it again, they'll actually stop on the other side of the gate, but they won't be able to damage it yet until it's actually closed. So you can use that to sort of slow down enemy forces. Now for the Storm Shack, just so we are clear on that one. Stormhouse. The door is actually super important. So this door right here, you want crossbows on this side of the building so that they can shoot people trying to bust their way in. So if we were to put that there, we would want the gate over here. so they could all shoot through. But yeah, the game's really, really nice. What you're going to find is that getting to like 30s is pretty easy. Getting to 50s is a little bit harder in like your stats. But getting above 75 will take absolutely forever. We have mods that give us like 5 times experience, so we actually level up really fast. But if you don't have that, it is going to take absolutely forever to do anything. Tell everyone to get up. Okay. Why are they shooting down? What are they fighting? Random cannibals sounds good. Yeah. If you run into a lot of lag, that is normal. The engine that this game is running on was old even in 2012 when the guy started using it. So it's ancient now. Kenshi 2 is yeah. We have a lot of cages because it has Fogmen come over and eat people. So we could, in theory, use that as a recruiting tool. Let's see. Is there anybody we can hire? Yes. Join me. He's like, no problem, boss. Okay, let's get him outfitted. Yeah, we have a Fogman army, because we are doing the Fogman start. It's a modded start, and it basically lets you start as a Fogman, which in essence means that... Oh no! I think it was our armor who must have died. Oh well, we have more. Yeah, sure. That's what it must have been. One of our armors probably died. Arrow making, heavy armor smith. No, he's right there. What? Me confused. Okay, what are we out of? We have plenty of armor plates. Don't have any fabrics. I think it's because he's making a lot of healing stuff, which is great. I like that. But I also kind of need gear to get made. Oh, I think I see what's happening. Beverage chests. Okay, that works. That's going to allow our armorer. Oh, that would explain why. Things develop. So the prices of everything are actually randomized at the start of the game, regardless. My recommendation, though, is to not use Genesis. The reason for that is Genesis, while nice, introduces a lot of lag into the game. Wow, okay. I think we can not make these for a while. Yeah, I think we're stuck, guys. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, just give it a shot. And if it gets to a point where it's just chronically crashing on you, then yeah, at that point, just do it. Just, I guess, drop it if you want to. Alright, we're going to throw those on the ground. We're going to push all these over there so that he actually goes and makes that armor. By the way, Hivers are flat out immune to acid. So if you wanted something... Okay, he's going to go get the cloth. Fantastic. I like it. Okay. So if you wanted to do something where you don't need a whole lot of like acid resistance, then Hivers are a way to go. If you want to go with a run where you are not playing Hivers, but you don't have to worry about acid rain, then you want to go for, what is it called? Crab armor. So you'll want to get a crab helmet and crab armor, and you can get those from the Crabber faction over here somewhere. You'll just have to befriend them. Oh, good. Made some armor. Who doesn't have proper armor? He has high grade. Now if you come over here and grab this, because that's master. Alright, sounds good. Fog Heavy, you come and get some armor. Yeah, and most of the time, the Hivers that you will end up getting a lot of are not made of paper. So, Fogmen have worse stats than normal Hivers, which is why they're pretty much made of paper. Hive workers have 75 and everything, I think. Something like that. I think Hive workers have 75 across the board. And then Hive princes, I think they have 100 in head and like 75 across the board. Something like that. I think Hive workers have like 100 in head and like 75 across the board. Princes are 75, and then Hive soldiers have 200 in head and 100 in everything else. So they're actually better at fighting. They're better at being your frontliners. Because in the base game, they do have 200 head protection, well, 200 hit points in head, which means they have to go to negative 200 in their head to die from a headshot. So you're unlikely to lose them due to just damage to their head. But they can't protect themselves from poison gas. They don't have any damage reduction, which, yeah, they eat less as well. If you were to do a Hiver playthrough, I'd recommend, I think it's called Hivers Expanded or something like that. But that would definitely help you quite a bit to be able to actually use your Hive soldier drones. The problem is, Hive soldier drones are incredibly rare to get as recruits. So here's what I recommend. If you do a Shek only playthrough, make them all heavies. So have them all focus on blunt damage. I recommend fragment axes, keep in mind that fragment axes are incredibly heavy, and as a result, you're going to need prosthetics. At a certain point. So actually what you'll probably want are things like... what are they called? Like, food becomes less of an issue over time. You're going to want the... it's one of those Japanese training weapons. Kage? Something like that? Let's see. You're going to want jites, or jits, depending on how they're pronounced. So, actually the best out of the blunt weapon class, if I remember correctly, I can actually pull up my chart where I did a whole lot of weapons calculations. Yeah, let's see. So if we calculated that to just 100 strength and 100 dex, and then we sort this. Spiked Club looks like it's probably the best. Followed very shortly by a Mercenary Club. Mercenary Club and Spike Club do exactly the same blunt damage, so that's not really an issue. They both have armor penetration, which is what makes them so strong. The Spiked Club just does more bleeding damage, and I think it does a little bit more dex damage. It does a little bit more cut damage, which is why the Spiked Club is ever so slightly better. Alright, sounds good. The fragment axes are flat out the best weapon in the game. Flat out. It's just they have such insane strength requirements that using them at full speed is very difficult. That's the only downside with fragment axes. Okay, those dudes are been eaten, so what does that tell us over here at this Hive village? Still 9 people left. Okay, sounds good. But right, I do think that's all the time I have to stream for right now, though, unfortunately. So I will catch you all next time, everyone. Go and find me on YouTube, and you can just leave me questions in the comment sections there. And, you know, I'll answer what I can from what I have. I also have a lot of shorts that explain weapon groups and stuff like that, and sort of give an internal tier list of how good each one is. And all that stuff. I think this is like playthrough 13 or 14, like season 13 or 14. So, like, this is the last one. I'm not gonna do another Kenshi until Kenshi 2 comes out after this playthrough, because this is probably the hardest one. But yeah, there's a bunch on there. But alright, and what you're probably looking at is Shek World Domination, if you want to see how easy a Shek playthrough can be. When I went fragment axes and heavy armor, it felt like I was cheating, even with just like 30 people. Like, that's how easy it is. Yeah. But alright, I'll see you all guys all later. Bye, everyone. Oh yes, this is going incredibly well for the Hive Trader, isn't it? Oh, no! Alright, how are we doing? I know I'm in the way, but... I mean, most people are doing alright. Yeah, he's still unconscious for like 5 years. Let's see. I want you to go lay down for a little while. I'll help take care of you. Okay, so are we getting raided by anyone yet? The Shek challenges are coming. Some dudes walking away. Nice. Go! No! My legs! My brand! The Shek challengers are going to show up and just be surrounded by random fogmen here to fight for us. It's a smorgasbord here. Let's see, is there anybody that I can actually recruit? Yes. I can recruit a fog heavy. Shoot. Okay, this person's moving slightly. But they're dead. They were actually a ghost or something. What's this guy? Okay, so he's working on this one. That's good. He's going to make more of these. And we're going to... What we should do is start trading out our non-fog heavies with fog heavies, and then we should have just a dedicated group of fogmen who are pretty much just dedicated to being melee. That'll probably work just fine. That way we can get this Praetorian into our forces. It was the fogman who died for us. He died for our sins, maybe? I don't know. Possibly. And, alright. Sounds good. We're getting to where we're using all the power that we are generating. So we're actually going to want to add a bunch more small generators. So power, small wind generator. So believe it or not, the small wind generator and the large wind generator, in our case at least, generate the same amount of power. Because this is operating at 50% efficiency, and this is operating closer to 100%. So yeah, in this case, the small wind generators are producing more electricity than the large ones, simply because there isn't a huge amount of wind. It is how that goes. But yeah, here's what it is. Okay, it would appear that we have made some friends. Okay, yeah, we are shooting at someone. I just don't know who. Whoever it was, they didn't go near here, so it's not necessarily a big issue. Usually somebody gets trapped, like, over here somewhere. Okay, good. We have this one here that shoots them, so usually people get trapped like there. Oh, but he's not a hostile, so they wouldn't be shooting at him. Oh, good. Okay, let's have the Praetorian come over and grab that armor. You swap these. So now he has good armor everywhere, pretty much. And he should be pretty hard to really hurt at this point.